Yes, I have started the recording, so we'll be recording the entire session. Okay, don't worry about that. Okay, no idea. Okay, you don't have any knowledge of programming. Okay, so let me try to introduce you with programming. What is programming and how you can do programming using Python programming language. Okay, so we'll be talking about something called as Python 3.x. Okay, it is a programming language, Python 3.x. 3.x is the version. Okay, so I'll be talking about 3.x version. Earlier, people used to use something called as Python 2.x. Okay, the problem with Python 2.x is it is now deprecated. Nobody is using it. There are going to be no updates on Python 2.x. So it is a very good idea to start learning Python 3.x instead of Python 2.x. Okay. Okay, so this is something that you have to keep in mind whenever you try to look for on Google, maybe, or you try to look for any course online. Just try to make sure that you are looking for a Python 3.x wala course. Okay, it should start with 3 point. It can be anything. Okay, it doesn't matter. It should be Python 3 point something. Is that fine with everyone? So we'll be talking about Python 3.x because everything right now is in Python 3.x. Okay, nobody is talking about Python 2.x right now in the industry. Okay, all right. So see, we have a computer. Okay, so we have a computer, and I hope everybody understands that computers are dumb, right? Computers are dumb. We need something so that we can make computers do something. Okay, we need something to help computer understand or to instruct computer. Okay, something to instruct computer or a machine, right, to perform certain task, to perform certain tasks, right? In order to do something like this, okay, we need to have something so that we can instruct computer to perform certain tasks. And now what is that something? That something is nothing but programming languages. Programming languages. Okay, you have so many programming languages out there. Okay, there are so many programming languages using which what you can do is you can instruct your computers to perform something. Okay, you can ask your computer to perform addition. You can ask your computer to perform subtraction. You can ask your computer, you can build a complete web application, right? You can build a complete software, right? You can create a calculator. You can create anything, right? So you are just asking your computer, you are just instructing your computer to do something using programming languages. Okay, and here the programming language that we are trying to focus on is Python programming language, right? So we are trying to focus on something called as Python programming language. Okay, so the first question is, do we need to install something? Do we need to install something? Anyone who knows what we need to install in order to use Python in our computer? Anyone? Okay, so somebody is saying Anaconda. So Anaconda, we are going to come to Anaconda maybe later on. Okay, so let me try to show you something which is very interesting. Okay, you don't actually need anything in your computer. You just need a browser. Okay, I'll show you a simpler way because I don't want to go into installing something. Okay, if we go into installing something, then we'll waste entire one class, right? So let's not waste our classes. Okay, so we'll try to use a browser. Okay, so everyone is having a browser, right? Everyone is having a browser, maybe Google Chrome, Chrome, or maybe Mozilla Firefox or something, right? Or Safari or something, right? So just open that browser. Okay, so just open that browser. I will show you how. Okay, so I'll show you how to basically um, go to that. So just open the browser and open your Google and open Google and try to search for Google Colab. Okay, just do that. Okay, so if you are done with this thing, okay, you will have this first link called as collab.research.google.com. Okay, you just need to click on this link. Okay, let me try to click on this link. Is it fine with everyone? So you just click on this link. Okay, once you click on this link, this kind of thing will pop up. You just need to click on cancel button. Okay, I just clicked on the cancel button. And now what I need to do is I just need to go to files and create a new notebook. Okay, so on this page, you just need to go to the files and click on this new notebook button. Okay, let me do that. Now, what are we trying to learn here? Anyone? What is this? What is this course called? This course that you have opted for. What is this called? It is called foundations of, anyone? foundation of dash. Anyone who can fill it up? What is this first course called? Right, Python. There is something else. After Python, there is something else. Yes, of Python for AI. Yes, for AI. Now, do you understand that for AI, right? So we are talking about AI, artificial intelligence, right? And this looks very complex, right? Many of us don't even know what is AI, right? So it looks very complex, and maybe we require a very good compute power, right? Maybe we require a very good compute power, right? And let me tell you, this is true. You need a very good compute power. If you are not having a very good laptop or a computer, you won't be able to perform, you won't be able to write the programs for AI. Chandra, we are going to talk about AI in the third foundational course that is going to start from, I think, let me try to check the dates, 27th. Starting on 27th of this month, we are going to talk about AI, machine learning, and everything on that in that course. Okay, this course, sadly, it is not about AI, it is about Python. Okay, I'm so sorry if, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so we need a huge compute power. Okay, and I can guarantee that 90% of us are not having this compute power, right? Most of us are working on i3 or i5 processor with maybe, let's say, 4 to 8 GB RAM. Yes or no? Yes or no? With good compute power, what do I mean by good compute power? I should have at least i7 processor or i9 processor, right? At least i7 or i9 processor in my computer. Along with that, I should have at least 16 GB of RAM, right? This is the least thing. Okay, I've seen in my career, I've seen so normally what happens is people try to work on cloud, right? Because you have limitless compute power there, right? Not 2 to 4 GB graphics. Let me tell you, you need at least 8 GB graphics if you want to do real state of the art work. Okay, you need 4 plus GB of graphic card. Now, can anyone tell me how much will this cost if you try to buy a laptop or a computer that have all these things, that has all these things? What will be the cost of that laptop? And you also need SSD, right? You need SSD worth maybe, let's say, 500 GB. No, not 70K. I'm talking about 8 GB NVIDIA graphic card that is high end, right? 2000 series. I'm talking about 2000 series NVIDIA graphic card 8 GB. It is going to be around 2 lakh rupees. It is going to be minimum 2 lakh rupees. Okay. Yes, at least 1 lakh. Okay, you have to spend more than 2 lakh rupees to get a good compute power. Now, the best thing is, right, since we don't have all these things, right, even my laptop, on the laptop that I'm using, it is a very good laptop. But sadly, when I talk about AI and deep learning, I have to use this platform called as Google Colab, right? Because it is a cloud platform, right? You have limitless compute power here, right? But the free version of cloud of this Google Colab, it provides you with this thing. Okay, so let me try to connect. Okay, I've just clicked on this connect button. So it is trying to connect with the cloud, and it is going to provide me some resources. Okay, so if I try to hover my mouse over it, now do you see that I'm getting some RAM and disk space, right? Google is providing me with some RAM and disk space. Let me try to show you how much RAM and disk space is available. Can you read it? Is it possible to read? I hope this is not very small. If you can read it, can you please write how much RAM is there? How much RAM is there? 12 GB, right? 12.7972 GB, right? 12.72 GB, around 13 GB of RAM. How many people are having more than 8 GB RAM in this class? In this session, how many people are having more than 8 GB, right? 90% of us are not having more than 8 GB RAM, right? So guys, see, it was written something like this: RAM 0.79. Let me try to hover my mouse over this thing again, slash, then slash 12.72. Thank you so much, Murthy. So the thing is, अरे आदित्य आप तो खिलाड़ी निकले. so the thing is, see, what happens is this thing, right? So you have this much RAM for free, right? Google is providing you this much a server which has this much RAM, and this much is allocated. Okay, this much is already used, right? So this is the used out of 12.72 GB RAM. Is that fine with everyone? Yes or no? So you are having at your disposal, you are having around 13 GB of RAM, right? For free, you are having this very nice machine. Now, the biggest benefit of using Google Colab is if you go to runtime, right? If you go to runtime and if you try to go to this change runtime type, right? If you go to this change runtime type, you can go to this GPU, right? You can select this GPU, and this is a very good GPU. Okay, this is a very good GPU, and you can save it. Okay, none simply means that you are running on CPU, right? You are running your processing on CPU, right? Whereas when we talk about GPU, it is very good in basically executing the parallel processing wale tasks, right? It is very good with processing all the parallel tasks. So it is it is beneficial to basically use GPU for deep learning. Okay, we'll come to that. Okay, we'll come to that when we talk about AI. Okay, so let me try to not change anything. Now the best part is this. See, there is a cursor here, right? Now you can write any Python program that you want. Okay, let me try to show you a very simple Python program to print hello world on the screen. Okay, so I'm just instructing my computer to print hello world on the screen. So if I do this and if I click on this run button, right? If I click on this run button, so see, it is printing out hello world in front of me. Is that fine with everyone? So in order to print something on screen, you just simply say print. This is a keyword, right? This is a keyword that you need to write, and then these square brackets, right? And then the inverted quotes, and inside the inverted quotes, you have to write whatever you want to display in front of the user. Is that fine with everyone? Yes or no? Now, Python is a very interesting programming language. We'll try to understand all the concepts. Okay, just hold on for a couple of minutes. Okay, is that fine till now? I hope this is fine, right? All right. Now, let's try to understand a couple of concepts theoretically. Okay, so let's try to understand a couple of concepts theoretically, and then we'll try to come up and see this entire thing. Okay, Anand. So in order to open GPU option, you go to runtime. Okay, you go to runtime, and then you just come to change runtime type. You just need to click on change runtime type, and then you can select the GPU. Okay. So normally when you learn deep learning, then you would need the GPU. In machine learning, CPU will be, you will be able to run everything on CPU. That is perfectly fine. Yes, Venkatesh, it is only for Python programming. Google has created this Colab wala feature only for Python programming. And the best part is you can also, so most of the data scientists use something called as Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter Notebook. Okay, most of the AI engineers, data scientists, and all these people, they use something called as Jupyter Notebook to write all the code and everything. Okay, and this looks exactly like Jupyter Notebook. Tomorrow I'll show you how Jupyter Notebook looks like. Okay, so this looks exactly like Jupyter Notebook. The interface is exactly like Jupyter Notebook, right? The file, Jupyter Notebook wala file, the extension is like this, .ipynb. Right now, if you want to download this file as .ipynb, what you can do is you can go to file, you can go to download, and you can simply download this entire thing is as download.ipynb. If you click on this, it will install, it will simply download it on your computer. I hope this is fine, right? Is it fine with everyone? Venkatesh? Fine, perfect. All right. Now let's try to understand some theoretical concepts. Okay. Yes, it is an editor. It is an editor so that you can write your programs, right? So it is an editor, simple terms, right? So let's try to understand some very interesting concepts about Python. Okay. So let's see. So many people were saying, you know, Python. Okay. So let me try to test you. And for the people who don't know Python, there are so many things we need to learn, right? So see, the first thing about Python programming language. Okay. The first thing. So let me try to show you a very interesting meme. Okay. So I hope nobody is afraid of snakes, right? Yes, you can use any editor. If you want to use VS, you can use that. If you want to use what do we say, Notepad, you can use Notepad as well. Okay, you can use any editor, no worries. No, Vivek, both are same. IPYNB is different from PY. Both are different. Sorry, both are different. Okay. Okay, Vivek. Both are different. Both the extensions are different, and the files are also different. Okay, totally different structure and everything. Let me try to share one thing. I hope nobody is scared of snakes, right? So it is a Python programming introduction. Okay, so this is a meme that I wanted to share. So I hope everyone is able to see the meme. So let's try to, yeah. So let's try to open up the, yeah. So the first thing, right? Python programming language. Yes, thank you so much, Murthy. So Vivek, so this is the answer to your question. So IPython notebook is for Jupyter notebook and .py is for Python. Okay. So the first thing is, what is the use of Python programming language? Okay, we are into Python for AI, right? But is there anything else that we can do using Python? The question is there anything? What are the applications of Python? We need to first understand that, right? Before looking at any movie, we try to look at the trailer, right? We try to look at the trailer and we try to decide whether we will like the movie or not. Then only we'll go for the movie, right? So until unless the movie is from maybe let's say Marvel or DC, we'll try to look at the trailer and then only we'll go with the movies, right? Yes. So I'm already getting the answers. So what are the application areas of Python? Application areas of Python. So the most basic application area of Python. Yes, correct. Everyone is correct. So the first and the foremost, the most basic area of Python. Is there anything? No. Jagveer, if you already have that much knowledge, then I don't think it will be a very good course for you. This foundational, the first course, these 3 classes, I'm afraid that you won't, you will learn, you will not learn anything. Okay. So I'm so sorry for that, but yeah. All right. So just, so I'll share something with you. Okay. So maybe I'll try to drop a mail or something and just try to fill that form, and I will provide the certification for the machine learning foundational course if you try to attend that, and the data analysis course. Okay. All right. Yes. The first thing is, that is a feature, Anand. That is a feature that Python is open sourced. That is a feature that Python is open source, right? It is an open source programming language. It is a feature of Python, right? Talking about the application area of Python, the most basic application area of Python is we can build any standalone application. Standalone application for our computer. Applications for our computer. What do I mean by standalone applications? With standalone application, I mean that we can build something called as like Notepad, right? I hope everyone have used Notepad in the computer, right? You might have used something called as a calculator, right? Kuldeep, if you attend all the sessions, then the recordings will be shared, okay? Right. So all these applications you can very easily create using Python programming language. Okay, you can very easily create all these applications using Python programming language. The second thing is, right, you can build database applications. Right? Yes, we can build anything. If you can write some commands and you can ask Python. So it is a programming language, right? So it is a programming language, and whatever you ask it to do, it will be done, right? Durga Prasad, I will come to that. Okay. So you can build database applications. What do I mean by database application? You can build something like library management system, right? You can build something like pharmaceutical management system, right? You can build all sort of these applications which require something called as a database to store something, right? With Python programming language. The most interesting area where Python can be used is AI, right? We are going to use it in AI, right? In machine learning, in data science, in deep learning, right? We can use Python in all these fields, right? We can use Python to create AI applications or deep learning applications or data science projects or machine learning applications, anything, right? One of the very interesting application of Python is you can use it in game development. Now, do you know there is a game called as what is it called? I think that game, Battlefield. How many of you know about Battlefield? So this game is built using Python. The game is built. There are so many components of this game that are built using Python. You might have heard of something called as Sims. It is a simulation game, Sims 4. I don't know how many of you know about this game, but this game is again built using Python. I hope this game, the game that I'm going to write next, is going to be known by most of you, right? So you might have heard of PUBG, right? So PUBG has so many components that are built using Python programming language, right? So you can build game, you can do game development using Python programming language, right? But normally, so there are not many applications or there are not many games that are built using Python, but yes, these are the very big games that use Python in one or the other way, right? You can also build something called as web applications. You can build web applications using Python. Yes. Fortnite, I think it is not built on Python. I have to check. I will check that. Okay. So maybe someday we'll do some competition or something. Okay. Maybe I think PUBG is banned now. Maybe we can do something else. So maybe we can go for COD or something. Okay. So yeah, or maybe CS. Right. So web application, for web applications we use Python. Right. What we can do is we can use something called as a framework, which is Flask or Django. I hope some of you might have heard of these framework, right? So Flask and Django are the framework that that basically, no, not everything is Java, Anand. So most of the game development is done using C++, right? So not everything is Java. Java is very heavily used in web application development or software development. Okay, there are huge applications of Java in these fields, even in big data, right? But Python is also working well in big data, right? So you can use Python in big data, right? So anyone who can give me some examples of web applications? Anyone? Can anyone give me some examples of web applications? How many of you have used YouTube? How many of you have used Facebook? Yes, correct, Mahima. So you have Amazon. You have all these applications, right? I'm not talking about website. I'm talking about entire application, right? These are very heavy applications, right? So I'm talking about very heavy architectural websites, flipkart.com, right? So all the software engineers and everyone, they work on building these kind of applications. Amazon, right? You have Netflix, you have Flipkart, you have YouTube, Facebook, right? You have, yes, you have Gmail, right? So all these are very heavy applications. Okay, maybe someday I'll talk about all these applications also and how to build them. Yes, Twitter is there, right? Right. So there are so many applications, you can keep on writing them, right? Similarly, you can use Python programming language to build something called as IoT applications, right? You can use Python to build IoT applications also, right? Philips, they are using Python a lot, right? Because it can be used very easily with Raspberry Pi, and they are using Python a lot in order to develop all these to write code on a Raspberry Pi or these kind of things, right? So you have huge applications of Python, right? So do you see almost everywhere you can use Python, right? Sadly, it is not used in mobile development that much, but for all the other applications, you can use Python anywhere. Isn't it amazing, right? So learning a single language can make you either a software developer. In order to become a software developer, you can you can either start developing standalone applications, you can start developing database applications, or you can start developing web applications, right? If you want to become a data scientist, you have to go with this thing. If you want to become a game developer, you have to go with this thing. If you want to become, maybe let's say, let's go down. If you want to work as a data engineer, right? I'm not talking about data scientist, I'm talking about data engineer. There is a difference, a huge difference. Okay, you can use Python for big data, right? Yes, correct, Anand. Murthy, so the backend is developed using Python, not the front end. You can't design the front end a lot using Python. Okay, so the backend will be developed using Python. Okay, because you have Android applications and all sort of things, right? So yeah. No problem. So is it fine with everyone? So there are huge applications, right? So we are just seeing the trailer. We are just watching the trailer, right? So the trailer looks like an action movie, right? So it looks like an action movie. So there is a lot of things that you can do using Python. Okay. But in this course, what we'll do is we'll try to use Python for all this stuff. Okay, we'll try to learn only the things that are going to help us in developing AI application or help us learn machine learning, data science, and deep learning. Okay. Kuldeep is having a very nice question. Kuldeep has asked if there is any alternate to Python for data science and AI. The answer is yes. Kuldeep, yes, definitely you have something called as R programming language, right? So there is Python and there is R. Now, do you see the trailer of, do you remember the trailer of Python? You can do all sort of things using Python, right? But using R, you can only do this thing. R can help you only doing, you can use R only to do this thing, nothing else. You can't use R for any of the other stuff. Okay, so that is the limitation. So normally what happens is if somebody is from non-technical background, MBA, or maybe completely a managerial background, they start learning R programming language because they don't want to become a developer, right? They don't want to become a software engineer or a machine learning engineer. They just want to understand how to use machine learning to do certain tasks. Is that fine? Is it making sense to everyone? All right. So Vivek, in order to become a web developer, okay, in order to become web application developer, Vivek, okay, so try to see this. Okay, so it is not web developer, it is like web application developer. Okay, so in order to do that, you just start learning Flask or Django. Okay, so see, there is something called as website developers, right? So website developers, you can find these people who can write HTML code anywhere, right? You can walk around your house. Maybe if you live in a town or somewhere, you can find the people who can develop websites, right? But web application is totally different. Not everyone can build YouTube. Not everyone can build Facebook, right? Not everyone can build Amazon. There is a huge difference. So we have to understand that difference, and this is what software developers will do most of the time, right? They will try to create applications that are used by million users, right? There is no fun in creating the application that is going to be used by a single user. Try to think of it. Creating a calculator is very easy, right? Creating a calculator that runs on your computer is very easy because it is not going to be used by a million users on a same time at the same time. But when you talk about Amazon.com, try to think of it. Okay, when you talk about Amazon.com, do you or Flipkart.com, do you remember there is something called as Big Billion Day Sale? How many of you know about Big Billion Day Sale, or maybe something like this, New Year sales or Big Billion Day sales? Now try to understand how many people are going to come to Amazon or Flipkart, right? So there are around 10 million people who visit these websites, right? Now, have you ever seen these websites going down or crashing? So have you ever seen that the Amazon or Flipkart server will crash if many people are using the website simultaneously? No, right? So they have a very strong architecture. They have a very, very, very strong architecture. But on the other hand, most of you, right? Most of you have given the 12th class exam, right? Or some government exam. If the results are announced, what happens? If the results are announced, the websites are going to crash, right? The websites will crash if you try to give the exam and the results are announced. The server is going to crash, right? The reason for that crashing of the server is just because there is a lot of traffic, right? So what is the problem, right? So I think people or our government, they need to hire better software developers for these websites, right? Because Amazon and Flipkart and all these websites, they have very good software developers who know how to make websites, who know how to make these software architectures which can handle a million user or maybe more, 100 million users at a time. Yes, correct, Anand, correct. Right, so there are so many things. Okay, there are so many things in application development. Okay, it is not just about creating a very nice front end and just connecting it with the back end. Okay, there are lots and lots of things. Okay, if you want to talk to me, just try to ping me on my LinkedIn profile. On my LinkedIn, I'll try to connect with you and try to talk about these things. Okay, so even if you want any guidance or something regarding what will be the best thing for you, just let me know on LinkedIn. Okay. Okay, just search for me and you will find me easily on LinkedIn. Okay, so just try to ask me any doubts that you have regarding these things. Okay, you need to be very clear about all these things. Okay. Okay, Venkatesh, that is a very, very difficult question to answer. So, all right. So my name is Kanav Bansal. So I've already introduced myself. I'm sorry for that if you have missed that. You can search for me. Okay. All right. Now talking about the next thing. Okay, so I have also prepared all these notes so that you can have a look at them. If you want to maybe learn more, you can also learn a little bit more after this class completion. Okay, so what you can do is you can have a look at all these things, right? So I've written all these things. Uh, okay, Anand, I'll try to accept the request. Okay, so I actually try to have a look at my profile. So there are many things that I need to check. I'll definitely check my network tab. Okay, so I'll try to connect with you. Okay. Yes, so they are freely available, Vivek. So I have been writing these notes for all the people to use for free for a very long time. Okay, so many people actually follow all these notes and everything. There are so many people who follow my notes. Okay, just try to have a look at these notes if you want to if you want to learn more. Okay, so I have all the machine learning, deep learning, Python, everything. Okay, so you can directly go to this website. I'll just try to post the link on. Yes, you just go to Google and type my name and you will be able to find my GitHub account. Okay. Okay, so let me try to post this thing. Okay, in the chat box. Yeah, I'll try to post it in chat box. Okay, just a minute. Yeah. So I hope everyone can see the link, right? So I'll also post the link to our company's website so that you can follow it. Right, just go through all these things, and if you want to connect with me, I'll also share my profile. Okay, so in case you want to connect with me, just send a request. Okay, so I'll accept it. So I'm not able to get my profile's link. That is amazing. All right, so how do I get the link to my profile? Just try to search for this thing. No, so just try to search for this if you want to connect. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much, Murthy. If you can get that, please. So it is not updating my link. I don't know why. So just try to do that, please. Okay, so yeah, that's all. Yeah, so let's come back to what we were talking about. We're talking about these things. So now let me try to give you very interesting facts about Python. Okay, so these features, everyone should know these features, because when you go for a okay, Venkatesh, that's great. So if you want to basically, so I'll try to basically give you a couple of things. So I'll try to share a couple of things with you. Okay, just try to maybe yeah. Thank you so much, Murthy. Yeah. So let's have a look at these features of Python. Okay, just have a look at these features of Python. So the first thing is, it is very simple to learn and very easy to understand, right? So if I write a program like this, print hello world. Okay, I hope everyone can understand that this is nothing but printing something on the screen, right? And this is a program, right? This is how you write a Python program. It is very easy to write a Python program. But if you talk about, let me try to show you how it will look like if you try to talk about some other programming language. Let's say you are talking about C programming language. Anyone who can write a hello world program in C programming language? In C programming language, you have to write hash include stdio dot h, hash include conio.h, right? Then you have to write a main function, and then inside the main function, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here, right? So you have to write printf hello world. It is not print, it is printf. Okay, so and then a semicolon is mandatory, right? This is a C program to simply print out hello world on the screen, whereas Python may simple you write print and then hello world. That's it. Okay, the semicolon here is not mandatory, but you can put a semicolon here. If you want, you can put a semicolon also. Is that fine with everyone? Yes or no? Is that fine with everyone? Thank you so much for reverting back. Yeah. So this is what you have with Python programming language. Okay. I hope someone might be knowing C++ and Java programming language, right? In C++ and Java, it is totally different, right? It is totally different to print something on the screen. In order to print something on the screen in Java, you write class, maybe let's say, let me call this class as XYZ, right? Then you say public static void main, then you say string, then you say args, right? So it is a very complex program that you write. Then you write system, yes, correct Venkatesh, system.out.println, right? And then you say hello world, right? So this is the kind of code that you write in other programming languages, right? So in Java, it is very easy to write Java programming language. It is very easy to understand Java programming language. The only thing that you have to write in, so it is very concise in simple terms, right? That is the very biggest feature of Python, right? Is it making sense to everyone? So I'll come to that, Anand. I'll come to that. So Anand is having one question. Is Java purely object-oriented programming language? The answer is no, right? Sorry, is Python object-oriented programming language? The answer is no. Java is a pure object-oriented programming language. Python is not a pure object-oriented programming language. Okay. So in Python, right? So the guy who created Python, right? He created Python in I think 1980s or 1970s. I'm not sure about the year. Right. The guy's name, I know the name actually. The guy name is I think Guido van Rossum. 1991. Okay. 1991 he created Python. Right. Uh, can anyone tell me which programming language this guy might have basically? So he was very inspired with C programming language, so he made Python to have these functional programming features. Now, can anyone tell me which programming language this guy was inspired with, so that because of which he made Python object-oriented programming language also? Many of you might be knowing object-oriented programming languages, right? So anyone who can think of any programming language? C and Java. C is functional. C is not object oriented. C is not object oriented. Okay. All right. So many people are saying Java. The answer is no. So the programming language that time was C++. Okay. He was very inspired with C++. Java came in 1994 or 1993. Okay. Java was not there when Python was discovered. Python was developed before Java. Okay. Python is older than Java. Okay. Similarly, there is something called as Modula 3 programming language, because of which this person, he wanted to make Python have this feature of modular programming languages, right? So he was inspired from this programming language and he made that possible. Similarly, there is something called as, I think Perl programming language, which is a scripting programming language at that time in 1989. He considered that programming language also and made Python. So you can write anything. You can write either functional programming or object-oriented programming or modular programming or scripting using Python, right? Because of this scripting wala feature, Python can be used for hacking also, right? You might have seen so many movies, right? So they will use Python or something like that. Is that fine with everyone? So you can write anything. You can use Python for anything, right? It is like Superman, right? Python is like Superman. You can do anything with it. Yes, correct, Murthy. So you can write scripts and all these things. Is it fine with everyone? So if this is fine, then we can move on to the coding part. Yeah, it is Brahmastra. Shaktiman hai ye. All right, so let's move on to the coding part. So yeah, so let me open up the Jupyter Notebook, that one, the Google Colab one. So yeah, I hope now everyone can see it. Yes. Everyone is able to see the screen, right? So let me try to create a new tab here. Yeah. So let's say you want to store, see, in mathematics, you might have seen, right? You might have seen that there are some equations like this, right? You can write a equal to 5, and just look at this, just look at this thing that I'm doing, and just try to see what um okay, thank you so much, Tony Stark. So all right. So what we have to offer here is a equal to 5, b equal to 10. Okay. So if I write something like this, and if I write something like c equal to a plus b, and then if I write print c, can anyone, just by looking at this entire thing, can anyone tell me what is going to happen? What is going to happen if I do something like this? Yes, there should be something printed out, right? And that something is nothing but 15, right? It is nothing but 15. What we are trying to do here is we are trying to create something called as a, and this a is going to store something called as 5, right? We are trying to store 5 inside a, we are trying to store 10 inside b, and then we are trying to store a plus b inside c. And we already know that a contains 5 and b contains 10, right? And if I try to add up 5 and 10, c is going to contain 15, right? C is going to contain 15, right? And then we are trying to print out this C, right? Right? So is it making sense to everyone? Right? So let me try to write this thing. Okay, let me try to write this thing and see if this is possible or not. If I say a equal to 5, b equal to 10, c equal to a plus b, and then if I try to say print c, and if I try to click on this run button, right? If I try to click on this run button, let's see what is the output. Now, do you see? I hope everyone is able to understand it, right? It is very easy to write code in Python, right? So what I'm trying to do here in programming, I'm trying to create a variable, right? So how many variables do you see in this entire code? Anyone who can just count it? How many variables do you count? Yes, there are 3 variables, right? There is a variable a, there is a variable b, and there is a variable c, right? There are exactly 3 variables, right? And what is the type of these variables? We also need to understand that. Okay, that is one of the fundamental thing that we need to understand in any programming language. The type here is integer, right? A is of integer type, right? Do you see? We are storing 5 inside it, right? B is of integer type again. C is of, anyone who can tell me the type of C? Anyone? Yes, all are integers, right? So let me try to print. Maybe let's say print. Let's say I want to check the type of anything, right? So any variable, right? So how do I say that? I simply say type C, right? So if I say print the type of the C variable, right? So this is how I will read this line. Okay, I'll simply say print the type of this C variable. If I try to run the program now, let me try to click on this run button, right? It is simply telling me that it is nothing but a type integer. It is a integer type. Now, what are all the different types of variables that you can create in Python, right? First of all, there is something called as a numerical variable, right? In Python programming language, you can create something called as numerical variables, and numerical variables are integers. They can be decimal numbers, right? They can be decimal, they can be 5.0, right? For example, let me try to do that. Let me try to make this a equal to 5.5, right? Now, if I try to run the code, can anyone tell me what will be the type of C? Anyone? Or let me try to say type of A. Yes, correct. Float, right? So decimal number are called as float in programming language, right? Any programming language you pick, right? Normally, what do we say for a decimal number? You simply say that it is a float. Yes, float type, right? So this is what you have, right? So this is what you have. So let me try to run the program and show you the output. So if I run it, see, it is a floating type number, right? It is a float, right? The third type of variables that are present in Python is called as complex numerical variables. Complex. How many of you remember complex numbers from your, I think, 8th or 9th grade, or maybe 10th grade? I'm not sure about the grade, but in that grade, you might have heard of something called as a complex number. Yes or no? So complex number are written something like this, right? Complex number are written, yes, correct. 5 plus iota 6, something like this, right? Imaginary number. Do you remember this? So this is how you write these complex numbers. And in Python, you can create the complex numbers also. If you want to learn about it, just go to my this link. Okay, so I've already shared it with all of you. Just go to this link, and in order to learn about this complex number, in order to learn about this numeric complex number, just try to read this thing. Okay, so I've written the entire code. So if you see this line, I'm trying to create a complex number and then printing that. I'm trying to print the type of that complex number. Okay, just try to read through this entire thing. Okay, it is freely available for all of you to learn and read. Okay. Now the next thing is, give me a second. Let me create a cell here. So in order to create another cell, okay, so what I'll do, I'll just click on this plus code button. Okay, so it will try to click and it will try to create a cell for me. Now in this cell, I can write any other code, right? So there is a concept called as identifiers in Python. Okay, there is a concept in any programming language that you learn. Okay, I'm just talking about all the programming languages out there. There is a concept called as identifiers. Now, what can you do with identifier? What is identifier? Identifier is nothing but a name, right? Identifier is nothing but a name. Now, what are the names? Name can be a variable name, right? Variable name. Do you see that we were writing a code here, right? So it is nothing but a variable name, right? It is a variable name again. Now, what else can be there? So in Python, there is something called as a function name, right? There is something called as a class name, right? So these things also will cover in the class. Tomorrow we are going to cover about functions. Okay, we are going to learn about functions. I think tomorrow or day after tomorrow we'll learn about this, right? So we are going to learn about functions, and we are going to see that the name of the functions are also called as an identifier, right? So all these things are called as an identifier, and there are a couple of rules that you need to follow in order to create these identifiers, right? For example, let me try to tell you this thing. Let's say if I say a_1 equal to 10. Now, what is the variable name here? Anyone who can understand, anyone who can tell me what is the variable name here? I'm just storing 10 inside some variable, right? And what is that variable name? a_1. Yes, correct, Tony Stark. So a_1 is the variable name, right? This is the variable name. Now, let's say I want to print this a_1. Okay, so let me try to run the program. So let's see if it works fine or not. Yes, it is working fine, right? Now, is it possible to maybe instead of this underscore, let me try to put a, maybe let's say a hyphen here, right? So is it possible to put a hyphen here? If I put a hyphen here and then maybe let's say something like this. Now let's try to run the program and see the output. Okay. See, there is a syntax error. It is saying it can't be done, right? You can't do something like this. It is not possible to do something like this. You can't use anything for an identifier naming, right? Putting a underscore was fine, right? Putting an underscore was fine to create an identifier, but not a hyphen, right? So there are a couple of rules that you need to follow in order to name an identifier. Let me try to tell you what are all those rules, right? The first and foremost rule is, yes, anything? Yeah. Tell me the reason. Yes, that is also the case. But if you want to create an identifier that won't you won't be able to put a hyphen there. Okay. Yes, there are a couple of rules. Okay, so let me try to show you the rules instead of writing them up. Okay, so if I go to this thing now, only the allowed characters to create identifier are alphabets, digits, and an underscore symbol. Right? So you can only name identifiers using alphabets, digits, and underscore. Let me try to come back here. Okay, so alphabets, digits, and underscore. Right? So do you see that this is the exact thing that we are talking about? We can only name identifiers using alphabet, digits, and underscore. Is it following the rule? Yes or no? Yes, identifier equal to variable. Yes, correct. See, identifier is a name, right? A name can be a variable name, a function name, or a class name, right? So try to see this and tell me the answer. Is it a correct identifier because of this rule? Yes, right? So let me try to create another identifier. Let me try to create another identifier. Let me call it as underscore A1 equal to 10 or 20. Let me try to put 20 here, right? Print underscore A1, right? Now, is it possible to, is it going to run fine? According to this rule, is it going to run fine, or is it going to be, is there any error? Okay, so Kundan is saying that there we can't start the identifier name with an underscore. Okay. Okay, so let me try to run the code and see the output. Okay, so let's try to run and see the output. Okay, it can show errors. Okay, let's try to run the code and see the error. Okay, no, there is no error, right? There is no error at all, right? So you can start the identifier name with anything, right? You can start the name with alphabet, you can start the name with underscore also, right? So let's try to create another identifier. Let me call it as 1a underscore or anything, right? We can call it 1 underscore a or 1a underscore. The agenda here is to start the identifier name with a digit, right? And let me try to put a 30 here, and we'll try to print this 1 underscore a. Now, let's try to run the program. Let's try to see what is the output. Okay. Let's try to see what is the output. Now, do you see there is a syntax error, right? So it is saying that it is an invalid thing to do, right? You can't start, right? So the second rule of an identifier is you can name an identifier using alphabet or a digit or a underscore or any combination of them. The only thing you need to keep in mind is digits should not be the first character. Is it making sense to everyone, guys? Yes or no? Is it making sense? Any confusions, any problems till now? I hope everyone is able to understand all these things. Great. Now, the next thing you need to learn about identifier is, so let me try to take you there. Okay, so yeah, so let me try to maybe write a program. Let me remove this entire thing. Okay, and a equal to 10. If I say a equal to 10, right, and if I say a equal to 20, and if I try to print a now, can anyone tell me what will be the output of this program? If I say a equal to 10, then a equal to 20, and then a equal to print a, what will be the output? Okay, 10, 20. All right, that is an interesting thing. See, think of it as this. Okay, just try to think of it as this. A is a container. Okay, it is a container. Just try to think of it as a container. Okay, a space where you can store anything, right? And what is that thing that you are trying to store? That thing is nothing but this 10. Right, that thing is nothing but this 10. Okay, now what you are trying to do is you are trying to say that let's try to put, instead of this 10, let's try to put 20 there. Okay, so what you are trying to do, you are trying to override this 10, right? You are trying to override this 10 with 20, right? So then you are trying to print this a. Now what is the output? The output is nothing but this 20, right? So let me try to run the program and show you the output. Yes, the 20 is the output, right? Yes, the last a, this is going to overwrite all the things, right? Is it clear to everyone? Is it making sense to everyone? All right. Now let's try to understand one more thing. If I say something like this, oh sorry, CTRL-Z, yeah. Now, what is the value in a? If I try to run this program, what is the value in a? Okay. Okay. 10, 20, 10, 20. Okay. So let's try to see this. Okay. This is interesting, right? So A is containing 10. We have a container that is containing 10. We have another A that is containing 10. Now, sorry, 20, right? So we are saying capital A equal to 20. Now, if this A contains, tell me one thing. If this A contains 20, if I try to run the program and if this A contains 20, can you say that Python may identifiers are not sensitive to this two cases? They are not case sensitive. Can I say that? If this A contains 20, can I say that in Python identifiers are not case sensitive? Yes or no? They are case sensitive, right? So in Python, identifiers are case sensitive. If I try to run this, right, this small a is going to contain 10 only, right? If I want to print capital A, let me try to show you that. The capital A, see, so the capital A is containing 20, whereas the small a is containing this 10. Is it making sense? Yes or no? Yes or no? Is it making sense to everyone? Is it fine? Yeah. So let's try to look into other things. Okay, let's try to look into other things. So the other rule of identifier says that there is no length limit. Okay, it means that you can create an identifier with any length, right? You can create the length of the identifier. There can be any number of characters in the identifier. Okay, there is no length limit. What do I mean by that? I'm simply saying that the identifier can be like this. Okay, there you can create an identifier as long. So there should be no spaces. I'm so sorry. So let me try to remove all the spaces. Right. So this can be a valid identifier. Let me try to copy this thing and let me try to print this number. Okay, so let me try to print it. Right. So it is an identifier. I'm just saying print this entire thing. Okay, this is nothing but this identifier, right? So let me try to print this entire thing. Let me try to run this code. There is, let's see, there is no error, right? So there are nothing like the length limit on identifiers. Okay, and we can't use the reserved words for identifier. What do I mean by that? Just have a look at these things. All these are the reserved words in Python. Okay, in Python programming language, these are all the reserved words. You can't use them. It is not possible to use any of these reserved words in Python. Yes, Tony Stark. And only 5 to 10 minutes are remaining. Yes. It would be amazing if Tony Stark was a Flash, right? So he can go back in time. All right. So let's try to understand this thing. Okay, so there are other data types also in Python programming language. Okay, we need containers to store all these things, right? So the things are, right, the couple of things that we need to understand is there are other data types like Boolean, right? There is also a string, right? Let's not worry about these data types. Okay, for now, let's not worry about this. So tomorrow we are only going to focus on all these things. Yes, so that is a very good question. Let me try to do that. So somebody was asking that what if we try to put a space? Tony Stark, just try to connect with me on my LinkedIn. Okay, just try to connect with me there. So we can connect and we can chat. Okay. I really wanted to meet Tony Stark. All right, so I'm just kidding. Okay, so let's try to do that. So what is the question? The question is what if we say A, B, C equal to 10, right? Is it a correct identifier or not? Yes or no? Is it a correct identifier or not? Yes, it is a correct identifier, right? So if I try to print this A, B, C, right? So if I try to run the program, see the output is 10, right? It is a correct identifier. Definitely it is a correct identifier, right? But what if I try to put a space here? What is going to happen if I try to put a space here? Yeah, there is a problem now, right? There is a problem now. Let me try to run the program. Let's try to run the program and see. See, there is a syntax error, right? You can't write something like this, right? It is not a valid syntax. In Python, Python is not able to understand this syntax. Yes, that is a very interesting thing Tony Stark is saying. So if I try to put an underscore here, right? If I try to put an underscore here instead of a space, then it is going to work perfectly fine, right? Because this kind of identifier is perfectly valid in Python, right? So there are so many examples that we have seen today, right? For creating an identifier, right? So there is no error now, right? It compiled perfectly fine. I hope this makes sense to everyone. Yes or no? All right. So the next thing that we will try to learn today, okay, just 5 minutes. I'll take only 5 minutes, and then we'll end the session for today. And tomorrow we are going to again continue from the place where we left. Okay. Now, when I try to write this line, okay, so when I try to write this line, do you see that I'm trying to create something? I'm trying to write something starting with hash. Yes, that's why I planned this thing before IPL wala match. Right. So do you see, guys? I'm starting this line using with a hash, right? So this is called as a comment. This is called as a comment. This is not considered as a programming wala line. Okay, Python will not compile this line. Any line starting with a hash, it is nothing but a comment, so that somebody who is reading your code, it is easy for them to understand. Normally, what happens is a programmer, if he or she tries to write some program, they'll try to put some comments in the program, so that even if somebody is not able to understand the program, they can read the comments and they can understand what is actually happening. Is that fine? All right. So see, I'm going to talk about operator. Okay. So there is something called as operator in programming languages. For example, operators are something like plus. It can be a minus. It can be multiply. It can be divide. Right. Sorry, divide. Right. There are many different kind of operators in Python. Even equal to is an operator. Right. Whenever we say a equal to 10, or whenever we say equal to maybe some number, right, what does it mean? It simply means, right, it simply means that we are trying to store something that is on the right hand side inside this thing that is on the left hand side. Right? Is it making sense to everyone? Yes, I'm going to come to that. Let me try to put it here. Right. So I will also try to talk about this. Okay, plus minus we'll also talk about this. All right. So is it making sense to everyone? So it is called as assignment operator. This is called as assignment operator. Assignment operator. Okay. So assignment operator simply means we are trying to assign something to A. Right. We are simply trying to assign something to A. Okay. I'm talking about operators. Durga, I'm talking about operators, and we are talking about this equal to operator. If I try to write A equal to 9, it simply means, or B equal to 10, or Kanav equal to, if I say Kanav equal to 20, right? It simply means I'm trying to store something inside Kanav, right? This is a variable. This is a variable. This is a variable. This is a variable, right? I'm just trying to do what? I'm just trying to say that I want to use this assignment operator, and I want to store whatever is on the right hand side. I want to store it inside the left hand side. That's it. This is what I'm trying to do here. Okay. Now people were also asking about double equal to, sorry, double equal to, double plus, and double negative. Let me also talk about that. Right. So is it clear to everyone? Is this thing clear to everyone? The correct way of writing this statement is you just write an identifier here, and we have seen already what kind of identifiers we can write, right? And then a equal to sign, and then the number, whatever number you want, right? If I say b equal to, let me try to write a smaller b equal to, let's say I want to store Kanav inside this b. I want to store Kanav inside this b. Is it possible? Yes, correct, Tony Stark. Tony Stark, I think you are writing a direct message. If you can put it to everyone, then everyone can see the answers, okay? Yeah. So what is going to happen? What is going to happen? If I try to print B, what is going to happen? Anyone? Let me try to do both, okay? Let me try to do both. So let me try to, after this, let me try to say print A, and then B equal to Kanav, and then print B. So is it going to print 878 and then Kanav? Yes or no? Okay. So let me try to run the program and show you. Okay. So first of all, let's try to understand it. Yes, correct, Tony. Yes. So let me call you Stark. Okay. So see, what is going to happen here? We are trying to say a equal to 878. Okay. And then we are saying print a. This is definitely going to print 878. We are sure of this, right? Do you remember? Because see, in Python we have something called as numbers or numerical data type, and in numerical data type we have integers, right? And we know that in Python we can simply initiate a variable like this, right? And do you remember that in Python you can also have booleans and strings? Do you remember that? String is nothing but a sequence of characters, right? String is nothing but a sequence of character, and this is nothing but a sequence of characters, right? The only problem with this entire statement is the string should be inside a single inverted or a double inverted quotes. Okay, it should always be in single inverted or a double inverted quotes. That is the only thing you need to keep in mind. Is it making sense to everyone? Is it making sense to everyone? Let's try to run the program and see the output. Okay, first let's try to see. It can be in single inverted also. It can be in single inverted also. Yes, yes, Stark, that is also possible. Triple inverted quotes are also possible. Okay. So let's try to run that. Let me try to run this. See, there is an error, right? So it is saying that Kanav is never defined, right? It is trying to take Kanav. It is trying to think of Kanav as a variable, as an identifier, not a string, right? So let me try to maybe put it inside a single inverted quotes. Okay, let me try to put it inside single inverted quotes, and then let me try to run this program again. Let's try to run the program again. Now, do you see it is working perfectly fine? And let's also try to print. Type of this B. Let's also try to print the type of this B to understand what is the type. Okay, and we'll also do something like print type of A. Let's try to do that. Right. So this is something that we have, right? So 878 is an integer, whereas Kanav is a string. Right? Try to understand this. Okay. Try to understand that there are multiple different variables, data types, and each variable that you have in Python, they can be assigned to one of those data types. Okay. There is a data type associated with each variable. Okay. You have to understand that. Is it fine with everyone till now? Is it fine with everyone? Yes, I'm good. I'm coming to that, Vinu. Just a minute. Okay, so let's say if I say print. Okay, so let me try to write it in proper format. Okay, so if I say print 5 double equal to 6. This double equal to, there is an operator called as double equal to, and it is called as comparison operator. Right? It is called as comparison operator. It will simply try to compare left hand side with the right hand side. If it is equal, it will say true. If it is not equal, it will say false. Now, what should it say here? Anyone? What should it say here? Murthy, I have to set it up. Murthy. So I have not set it up. Okay. Yes. So let me try to print it. Okay. Let me try to print it and see the output. So let's try to do that. See, it is false. Observe that false is having a capital F. Okay. Capital F wala false, not small f wala false, right? We have already seen Python is case sensitive, right? Python is case sensitive. So just look at it. Okay. Yeah. The next thing, okay. Somebody was saying plus, right? So if I say a equal to 10, right? A equal to a plus 1. Can anyone tell me what is the value of a if I try to print it now? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to, yeah. If I try to print a now, Stark, I think I saw the earlier message. Let me try to revert back to that message just after this code. Okay. So you were talking about the triple inverted quotes, right? So if I try to print a here, right? If I try to print a here, it will be 11, right? So I'm trying to increment this a, right? Initially, what I'm saying is, I am saying initially that a is going to, so it is a variable, right? So there is a container which contains 10, right? Then I'm saying that take a, add 1 to this a, right? A is 10. If I try to add 1 to this a, it is going to become 11, right? So it is going to become 11. And now just try to store it inside A, right? So it is an assignment operator. We are saying simply try to put it inside A and then print the value of A. Yes, 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 correct. Correct, Durga. It is used for comparison, right? Whereas single equal to is for assignment. Here we are assigning 10 to A. Here we are trying to compare, right? So let's try to see the output. Let's try to see the output. Right? So do you see 11 is the output, right? 11 is the output. Now people were saying that what if I do, right? In many other programming languages, you might have seen that there is something. Let me try to write a comment. So if I do something like this A++, in many programming language, it is equal to what I have done here, right? It is equal to what I have done here. This is equal. But what if I do the same thing in Python, right? What if I do the same thing in Python? So in other programming languages, this is the shortcut to do A equal to A+1. What if I do the same thing in Python? Let's try to do that. Let's try to do that. If I do A++, now can you tell me what is the value of A? What is the value of A? Do not try it on your computer and then tell me the answer. Okay, just try to execute it or inside the mind. Okay, inside the mind and try to think what will the output. Okay. Okay, some of you. So this is correct, right? According to, if Python works like other programming languages, the output should be 12, right? The output should be 12 because this is the so both the lines are equal, right? So we are saying initially we are saying A equal to 10, and then we are saying let's increment A with 1 by 1. Okay, so what if I try to do that? A will become 11, and then I am saying again try to increment A by 1, so it will become 12, right? So this is what we are trying to do, right? So if I try to print A now, the output should be 12, right? So let's try to run this program and see the output. See, there is a syntax error, right? Murthy already told us that there is going to be a syntax error, right? The reason is this plus plus is not defined in Python. There is nothing like plus plus operator in Python. Okay, Python has its own operators. There is a list of all the operators in Python, and I've created that list for all of you. So just try to scroll down. Let me try to, yeah. So these are all the available operators in Python, and I've given all the code also. Okay, just try to have a look at all this code. If you feel any difficulty anywhere, just try to drop me a message or something. Okay, tomorrow if you have any doubts, just come to the class and just try to ask that question. Okay, these are all the operators in Python available. Just try to have a look at them and try to basically solve all these questions. Okay. No. So it won't even work in the loop. Even in loop, it won't work. Yeah, sure. I'll send the link again. Yes, there is no increment decrement operator. Yes, correct, Stark. Yes. All right. So I took extra 10 minutes. I'm so sorry for that, guys. So tomorrow again, let's try to catch up again, and I'll try to talk about some more interesting concepts. Right. So let me try to share the link again. So I see that many of you are asking for the link. Okay, so let me try to share the link for this thing. Yes, I will talk about that, Murthy. So it is not the exact plus plus operator, but there is another way. So let me try to talk about that. Stark, that won't be possible. Actually, I am trying to create something different here, and creating a WhatsApp group won't be feasible at this point in time. So I'll try to create a Slack group, and I'll try to add all of you, that whoever is there in the class today. I'll try to add everyone. Okay. I will send the recorded videos. I'll create something. Okay, so don't worry about that, Vinu. Put it on me. I'll try to do that. Okay, that is my homework, to create something so that you can have the access to these videos. Okay. Yes, it doesn't work. Yes, Shyam Sundar. Yes, correct. Okay. So any doubts, any confusions, anything that you want me to improve, anything you want, I can do that. But it should be related. Okay. So that you need to understand. All right. I'm so sorry. In between, we were having some technical glitches. So I had a battery issue in between. Because of that, the laptop turned off, and many people, I've seen that many people left because of that. Right. So Yes, I'll do that, Vignesh. I'll do that. Okay, I'll create something. Maybe tomorrow morning I'll try to do that. So I'll do that. Definitely, I'll do that. Okay, so I expect everyone to be there tomorrow. Arey baap re. Arey baap re. Stark, you just try to connect with me. Okay, I'll be happy to connect. Okay. Thank you so much for the reviews, guys. Okay, so tomorrow let's again catch up. Is that fine? No, there is no WhatsApp group. So okay, Raja, I'll try to keep it in mind. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Don't forget to let me again tell you this thing. Okay. Whatever notifications comes up, I will put that notification in this group. Okay. Technology for all. I've created this page just to put all the notifications. Okay. Just make sure that everyone follow this page, technology for all, so that you can basically have the access to all the notifications. Okay. Thank you so much, Tony Stark. That means a lot. Yeah. So tomorrow there is so much to learn. Okay. There are so many things to learn. Okay. So we'll try to catch up tomorrow again. Okay. 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 Okay, Raja. So we'll do something, Raja. Okay. Durga Prasad, let me try to drop these links again. Okay, let me try to drop these links again so that you can do all these things. Okay, so let me try to do that. So from tomorrow onwards, I'll try to keep track of all the links so that I can put it directly in the chat box whenever somebody asks me. Okay, so this is the first link for the company. So you just have to follow this page if you want to get the updates and all. And my profile. So that is a trickier one. Let me try to look for the link. Yeah, I think I got the link, so I'll post that link also. If you want to connect with me, just try to go to this link. Okay, I'll be happy to help. Okay, and if you want to look at the code, right? So the coding wala link, I'll also give it to you. Yeah. So see, if you try to open up this link, the last link that I've shared with you. Okay, so if you try to, can everyone open up this link? So if you try to open up this link, there is no WhatsApp group yet, Vignesh. There is no WhatsApp group. So I'll create some group, okay, Slack or something, so that every one of us can stay connected. Okay. So just go to this link, guys. GitHub wala link. If you open up this link, this is the page you will be opening, right? So on this page, you will see that there is intro to Python, right? First folder, and then the second folder is data structure. Third folder is control statement. Fourth folder is functions and modules. Fifth is NumPy, pandas, and so on, right? So today I taught you all the things that are there in this first folder. Okay. So if you go to intro.ipynb, right, this is the file that I was talking about. Balaji, yes, yes. Just give me a minute. Okay. Or maybe can we do it tomorrow, Balaji? So I'll give you a feedback link or something tomorrow if that is fine. Yeah, please share any insights that you want, Murthy. So right, so you can share anything. So this is the entire coding wala notebook. Okay. Yes, everything is there. Everything is there. So it contains each and everything. Okay, these are the notes. So I've written all these things for all the people to follow. Okay, so just try to learn from these notes. Okay, so this is my GitHub profile. If you want, you can also follow me on GitHub. Okay, so this is my GitHub profile. Shubham, which process are you asking? Okay, to open the file. All right. All right. So see the link that I've shared with you. Okay, the link that I've shared with you. Right, this is the place where you will find you will end up. If you click on that link, you will come to this page. Right now, you need to click on Introduction to Python. Okay, just go to Introduction to Python, and then on this page, this is IPYNB, IPython notebook. Right. So I showed you that notebook on Google Colab. Right. The same everything in detail has been written in this intro.ipynb. So you can find all the code, everything here. Is that fine, Shubham? I think I accidentally clicked this ask to unmute button. I'm sorry. Yeah, so is it fine? All right. All right. All right. So any questions, anything? Any questions or anything? I would love to maybe stay here for maybe 1 or 2 minutes if you want to ask me anything, or any relevant, irrelevant, anything. I'm happy to answer any question. Anything? Okay. Okay. Later on, we'll do that. We'll definitely do that. Okay. Okay. See, so Mr. I don't know the name. So if you are looking for a job, okay, so I would suggest you strongly to learn all the some technology. Okay, so if you are searching for the job, just make sure that you are prepared well for something. Okay, try to first of all decide what you want to become. Okay, and normally what happens is, let me tell you one thing. Okay, so what happens is, let's say you decide that you want to become a data scientist. Okay, but what if after learning data science you figured out that data science is not for you? Right, that can happen. Right, that can happen. So these things you have to, so even for me, right, even for me, when I started my career, I started it as a software developer. Right, so I started it as a software developer. Later on I found out that my interest lies in data science and AI. Right, so I then came to AI, I learned AI, and then I transformed my career in this field. Right, so you need to work on these things to understand what is the place that best suits you. Okay, you have to do that. Right. Okay. Okay. Okay, so you are working as a software developer in a company. That's really good. As a ASP.NET developer, that is really good. Any internship or project regarding to this session? So we'll come to that later on. So somebody was asking about MSc Physics student. Yeah, we are going to talk about that also. Okay, that we'll do that also, Murthy. Masters of Computer Application, Tony. So cloud administrator. Okay, so if you want to become a cloud administrator, just try to learn AWS. Okay, learn AWS. You don't need to be very good with programming in that case. Okay, you have to learn AWS. You don't have to be very good with programming. That's it. AWS or Azure or something like that. Okay. Okay, that is amazing, Shruti. So I'm just looking at one post at a time. Okay. Shyam, so tomorrow I'll ask you to fill a form. Okay, so tomorrow if you attend the class or attend this session, I'll try to ask you to fill a form and then I'll share the certification. Okay, I would also know how many people attended the class from this Zoom account. Okay, so I think Tony Stark, you need to rename yourself. Maybe you can put your name and then put a Tony Stark in the bracket so that I know that I need to create a certificate for you. Okay, so we'll be issuing the certificate with your real name, right? Yes, you can leave the session if you want. I'm just asking the people if there is any questions or anything. No, there is no project as of now for this session. Okay, you just need to revise all the things that we have covered. Thank you so much, Utkarsha. Okay, okay. How was the interview? It is 3 days ka course, the Python programming language wala. Okay, so after that there will be um, something on what do we say? Something on data analysis. Okay. Yes, Murthy, I know. I understood. So Venkatesh, let me tell you, I have trained so many people in AI and machine learning. So there are so many people, even from medical background, they will learn AI and machine learning. Okay, so you are asking about non-IT. So I believe that you are from a technical background, but if you are from a completely non-technical background, also that's also fine. I've seen people learning AI and machine learning even from even the people who are from medical background, right? The people who don't require who are not having any computer science background, they are also learning AI. We are going to cover data analysis also. Next week we are going to cover data analysis. Okay, Rohan. So Chandra Shekhar, the question is, what is the difference between AI, ML, and DS? Okay, and which one is the best, right? So next week I have dedicated sessions on these things. Okay, we'll talk about these things in those sessions. Is that fine with you? Because see, it is all about Python, right now we are only doing Python, so it would be great if we can stick to Python and we can talk about all these things later on. Okay. Yeah, so I will give you a very good introduction to AI, ML, and all these things. Okay, you will really appreciate understanding about what is AI, machine learning, and deep learning. Trust me. Okay. All right. So I will be ending the session now. Thank you so much for joining in. I will try to basically share the recordings if it is possible. Tomorrow I'll share that. Okay. And tomorrow again, I would love to see all of you tomorrow again in the session. So let's connect and let's try to learn some more Python tomorrow. Okay. So I will end the session now. See you tomorrow, guys. Okay. Bye. Bye. Same time, 5 to 6:30, same time. And I would love if you can use emojis and all these things like Rohan. Yeah, same link, same time. Okay, you just come at the same time tomorrow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Bye, guys.